Hi, my name is Andrea. Thank you for clicking on this link and listening to what I have to say. My talk is called We Live by Art and Reason. This is a statement of aspiration. But what I also want to talk about is taking stock of my personal values about transmission, communication, and connection, and about the creative process and the role artists play in our culture. The visuals I'm showing are a mix of historical images from the Library Company of Philadelphia, some photos of Iceland, and my own visual art. The common thread is the underlying geometry that reverberates in the real and the imagined spaces around us. We live by art and reason. By art, I mean the human capacity for creation and invention, all of the arts, sciences, and philosophies together. By reason, I mean simply reason, our ability to reflect and learn and adapt. This is a form drawn up by Euclid, imagined by Euclid, and here's that form sort of echoed in some new work that I'm doing with collage. We humans make new knowledge, new ways of seeing and understanding our world. I hold arts and science up together as the engines of human culture. I value art and reason. I value our cultural heritage, objects from the past that connect us to a broader understanding of our place in time and history. They are rich sources of inspiration and knowledge that we continue to build on. It's an old chestnut, but it's true that we come to know what we really value when we see those things threatened. In light of this election, I think it's a very good time to take stock of my personal and artistic values and understand what exactly I could lose, what I fear will be lost, and how I would respond to those threats. This form is a cairn, a wayfinder. I value the knowledge we have inherited from the past, from the Enlightenment period of our history. I believe there is rational, objective, scientific truth in the world. Willful ignorance and anti-science thinking is a cynical betrayal of humanity. So what do we stand for? How do we respond when we see truths that we thought were universally shared disappearing into a fog of consensus? The symbol of the cairn is an important symbol in my visual lexicon, as it stands for the thing that guides us through the unknown. When we feel that what we value is threatened, we need to speak up and defend it. But in order to do that with conviction, we need to know on a deep personal level what it is that we're fighting for. I'm now focusing on examining the nature of my connection to nature. What is nature? How do I value it? Is nature something that's separate from me? We as a species are facing critical losses to the complex web of systems that sustain our existence on this planet. So it's important to know what it is that we stand to lose. As a visual artist, my first language of expression is visual art. I'm conscious of my role as a cultural transmitter, creating works that I hope will connect and communicate. Maybe by creating an emotional response, or by presenting a new perspective, or by evoking some kind of lost memory. These woodcuts were some of my first experiments into expressing something about the underlying geometry in nature. I'm looking for a visual language that expresses something essential about how we perceive and experience place, something that reaches beyond the specific and towards the universal. That simple angle, those two lines, the intersection of earth, sea, and sky, have become for me a symbol of our place in time and space. This represents earth to me, as earth is mostly ocean, and ocean meeting shore, and sky creating that horizon. Here are some more beautiful figures imagined by Euclid as he sought to understand his place. Visual language is our first language. It's at the root of abstract thought. We can create powerful, silent signifiers that transcend politics and strike the eye and the heart directly. Through the art we make, we inject visual thought signs into the cultural landscape around us, whether to interpret it, to build it up, or tear it down. What matters is that we witness and transmit something about our experience of being here. Here again is the geometry of that landscape. And here again are three invisible gazes that are also constructing a representation of place where they are. I love how the woman's gaze seems to be actually drawing that horizon line. I began to think about my own way of looking and examining my own gaze. Here in this work, these are imagined sight lines. As I think about how I use my eyes to measure and define the space around me, I'm looking for intersections, I'm looking for angles. This is the draftsman's way of seeing. Here's another piece of work that is a further reflection on the artist's gaze. Here I've embedded my own gaze inside the picture plane, inside of an imagined space, so that the viewer can maybe follow my gaze and maybe connect to my gaze. I'm drawn to exploring the underlying order in nature and maybe find there some respite from the chaos we inhabit in the here and now. Artists play an important role in understanding and interpreting our world. Through art, we not only create new knowledge, we also proclaim and defend our personal and cultural values. Art and reason help us to understand who we are and who we want to be. Thank you for listening.